Hey guys, I'm Cheyenne and this is Cheyenne New. Welcome back to my channel. This episode of the Variety Half Hour, we have photographer, videographer, all around great roommate, Kempson Bellington.
Hi.
You can catch his work on Instagram. Shout him out.
KW Bellington and Belvid. I guess I should have said at. Otherwise people won't know the right that.
Nah, people know these days.
Oh.
How's it going, Bellington?
Bellington? It's fine. Boozer. It took me a second. I'm sorry. You hate your last name so much. I don't.
It's like, okay, so there's a couple reasons why I don't like my last name.
I have a guess, but go ahead.
So it all starts back in elementary school. Our gym coaches would call me by my last name while we were running.
Oh.
And so
it's like a real Disney show.
Exactly. And I was a chubby kid, very slow.
Yeah.
And they would just be like, Boozer! And I'm like, oh, and I'd just be like, could you stop?
It's so perfect for a coach to yell, you know.
They did it too much.
It's like, well, probably because it's so fun to say.
It caught on with my 5th grade class.
Oh, they just yell it at you?
The boys would start calling me Boozer, but not just Boozer, like the elongated Boozer!
I'll be honest with you, if I were in 5th grade with you, I'd probably need that too.
Sergio, I'm looking at you. Torres. Nah, he was my friend.
Kindred spirit. Oh.
No, it's like, you know those kids that were slightly mean to you in elementary school, but by the time you're in middle school together, you're kind of like, what's up?
I moved around too much when I was young, so no.
No.
But sure.
Yeah. Like the longest I've ever gone to one school was middle school. When it was like all 3 years I stayed at one school.
Well, actually, people were like meaner to me in middle school and then nicer to me in high school. I'm a substitute teacher as well. And I've just noticed in my limited experience that middle school is where the weird ones start to sit in the corner. Like before, yeah, the weird elementary school kids, but they'll still talk. They don't care. In my middle school experience, people were like mean and bullying.
Yeah.
And then by the time we got to high school, we were like, there's like 10 of us. What are we doing?
Not 10 of you.
Yeah, no, it was a small high school. I mean, it wasn't 10, I'm hyperbolizing.
Yeah.
But it was a small high school. I think people were just like, we don't even have enough people for cliques.
Yeah. So I guess my personal middle school experience, it was like, I went to a bigger school.
What were the demographics?
It was maybe 1,000 students, 70% Hispanic.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so I grew up in Florida, and so it was like, I never felt personally victimized because the people who got the worst of it was like the weird white kids that smell bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Weird white kids. Weird white kids are such a staple in majority non-white schools.
Yeah. And so it was like, but no one was really like no one's taking their things and throwing them or anything. Like I never saw the television side of bullying. It was more like, yo, you smell, get away from me. And like, yeah, that would make kids sad too.
They would just say that out loud?
Yeah,
Oh,
like it
God.
was just a bluntness. Like I think the worst thing someone told me in middle school was that I walk weird. And I was like,
I had a student say that to me too. That's not the worst thing you can say. It's not the worst thing you can say.
At 13, I was 5'8" or like 5'6", and everyone was shorter than me.
Oh.
So I was like, here I am, tall black girl, everybody's talking Spanish, and the Haitian students thought that I was Haitian Creole, and so I just felt like very weirdly up for grabs. And then the only like black group of girls were making fun of how I walked. I was like,
It's something, I guess I see why it's a problem, because it's something you have to do in front of thousands every day.
Yeah, and we were going into the cafeteria.
Especially since you're taller than them and they look at you.
I was like, now you're behind me in the lunch line. I'm thinking about how I walk. I'm wondering if I should make new black friends. Like, all my friends were Puerto Rican, Mexican, and Honduran.
Oh, God.
I just didn't know how to talk to black people
because
they were mean to me.
But you had friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Me and my scene kids. We were in it.
What does a scene Honduran kid look like? So I can imagine a scene white kid, and I can kind of imagine a scene black kid. I don't know what a scene Hispanic kid looks like.
The same way, like they just straightened their bangs instead of the rest of their hair. So it was like curly hair, straight bang, the bracelets and everything. And then we had a uniform. So we would just put flannel shirts over our uniform shirts.
I thought you meant the scene kids had our uniform. Like you had like blazers and patches. And I was like,
well, our uniform was putting flannel shirts over our uniform shirts.
Which was allowed?
Yeah, like you just couldn't button it up.
Okay. I'm kind of backtracking, but that reminded me. I was walking, like one of my first times in this middle school here in Charlotte, I was walking down the hallway between classes or like to lunch or whatever. And this teacher was like, hey, you stop it. And I look around and see what's going on. And he pulls this girl aside and he says, I'm sorry, sir, this girl was making fun of the way you walk. And I'm like, you could she was behind me. You could have just not said anything. And he was like, say sorry to him. And she was like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, you're not. But you could just don't say anything. Like, I know I lope. I know I'm tall. I know whatever.
Middle school's trauma aside, we are going to go ahead and get into these topics.
Personal gardening. Is that a euphemism for manscaping?
No. So there's kind of like a movement online about like sustaining yourself, you know, producing your own food. And so it's basically personal gardening is like growing tomatoes and basil and like producing food that you would eat for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the topic.
It's very weird. Okay, well, I have a friend and she just started doing that and she snaps me every like 2 days and she's like, made this pasta with this tomato I made and the basil I made. And I'm like, cool. I mean, like, I was impressed at first and I was like, this is kind of weird. And then I was like, I can't respond to this anymore.
Yeah.
But that's another thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was, well, first of all, you say there's a thing where people are sustaining themselves through farming. Mm-hmm. That's all of human history, but you're saying that it's a fad now?
I'm saying that it's a fad to start your own personal garden for like smaller things. Like most people aren't, you know, like growing carrots and all the food that they need, but they're starting to like do some stuff. And some people are, you know, like building farms and stuff so that they don't have to rely on factories.
Yeah.
Especially because of coronavirus and like a lot of factories are shutting down. And so people are just like trying to, you know, minimize consumption while also giving themselves a new hobby, while also getting fresh produce.
That sounds very good for those people who have the patience for that.
Should we skip this topic? Because honestly, I don't care about it.
Why did you put it in the bowl?
My friend Teddy made it.
Are you going to include that or are you just going to cut it
no.
off? Okay, I have nothing to say about it. But that manscaping bit was choice.
Do you want to go with manscaping? This is our talk show. It's anything that we want it to be.
Okay, let's talk about manscaping. Do you prefer a man if he has hair or no?
I prefer a trimmed man because it's like if they shave, then I'll have to deal with the afterburn depending on how close we are. But if they don't do anything, then it's like I'm not licking your balls. So.
Wow. Okay.
How do you feel about your manscaping?
Well, I have. I want to say some girls care and some girls don't, but I suspect that they all care a little bit and they just don't say anything if they don't want to. I'm straight, so I only know women's opinion on my junk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like men care about the pubic hair way more than women. Because of the women I've been with, most of them don't even like super shave. Yeah. It's just like trim. But whenever I'm with a guy, they're like, oh, I prefer this, or I prefer that, or I prefer like, you know. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, are you going to do the same? And that's when I make them shave. Because I'm like, if I have to shave around my vagina lips, then you have to shave under your balls.
Under?
Yes.
Like all the way under?
Yes.
To the undercarriage?
All of it. To the taint. To the taint and beyond.
I had this moment when I was, I want to say 13, 14, somewhere around there, where a young man is just getting more and more self-conscious. Well, we all are. And I was looking up, I was like, man, I've never shaved anything down there. I've barely shaved anything up here. Should I? And I went online. I was like, do women care if men are hairy? And I was like,
13-year-old Kempson thinking about women?
Yeah. Mind you, this is before or maybe shortly after I'd ever kissed a person. So, don't know why I mean, I could be, I don't know. Listen, anyway. I looked it up and I was like, please, for the love of God, please, women, don't care. Just be okay with it. I just want there to be a large contingent that's like, it's cool or whatever. But like every response I saw was, I don't want to shove my face into a bush. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And then I did it and I was like, well, now this just looks weird.
Yeah.
It's a totally shaven guy, even in porn, like even if he's just a manly man with six-pack and abs, just seeing just like a baby soft skin. It's a little bizarre.
And yeah, we're gonna wrap up personal gardening with do what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And if your partner wants you to do a specific thing, then demand that they do an equal thing in return.
Well said.
Equal efforts.
The takeaway is that men care more than women.
Yeah.
About hair down there.
Yeah.
I don't care too much. I used to care more. I mean, about what the woman had. I don't know. It's like controversial take.
Well,
you ready for a hot take?
Sure.
Going down on a hairy vagina is a little grosser than going down on a hairy penis.
So what I was about to say is that this penis sticks out. So like I can see how there's a divergence from the hair. But with women, all you have to do is part the wave, you know? Just part it.
But it... Center
part.
Yeah, but there have been
Divide and conquer. We're gonna move on to, did you hear? Now, Kempson, don't want to scare you or anything because of fascism, but did you hear?
I'm always scared, go on.
Yeah, did you hear that Hong Kong is postponing their elections for a year?
No.
Yeah, and this comes after Trump said that he wants to postpone the US elections. And so I'm just like, this is setting a scary precedent.
Yeah.
Precedents?
They both, libs are mad, the right is happy because they like seeing left people get mad, and vice versa. It's just a topsy-turvy world that we're living in.
Like, okay, so for the longest time, I was like, oh, Democrats are good, Republicans are evil. But then Herman Cain died, and I was like, Herman Cain, he was the black guy who ran for presidency about, what was it, 4 years ago? He's black, conservative.
How have I not heard of this guy?
It's been a while since he ran for president, but he's like a CEO of a company. And he died after contracting coronavirus from Trump's Tulsa rally.
Oh.
And it's like they announced it on Twitter, and it was very creepy, I mean, discerning to see like all the liberals be like, haha, he got what he did, he got what he deserved, he's a grown man, he should have made better choices. Trump, will you admit that he killed him? And then the Republicans were like, he had cancer. And I'm like, what? The tweet says he died from coronavirus, and then Democrats are celebrating his death, and then Republicans are denying the cause. And I'm just like, when will you see reality?
Yeah.
Also, I'm mad that half of our government is like super old. Cause I'm like, Trump's like, what, 75? 77, 73?
Let's look it up.
He's so old.
Did you hear? Trump is old as fuck.
So old. And I'm like, yeah, he's 74. Obama was like our youngest president, and he was like 40 something. And I'm just like,
Kennedy was the youngest president, but Obama was close.
Yeah, so we only had like two young-ish middle-aged presidents, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, y'all need to stop getting these old people elected, okay? Stop it.
How would you have felt about Hillary? I mean,
She's
I guess
also old, but more experienced than Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, between the two, obviously Hillary. But if I had my own perfect candidate, it'd probably be someone younger, like Kamala Harris or something.
Yeah. What about AOC? Listen,
She's too young, I think.
I'm at home. I've been staying with my parents a lot, and my parents are ultra conservative, so I have a very close, finger on the pulse of what right wing people hate, and AOC is way up there.
Yeah, they hate how outspoken she is, I guess.
Yeah, but she also has said a couple she's made a couple gaffes in her past and recently, so it's easy to make fun of her. And also, what else do they hate? They hate Black Lives Matter. Because in their perspective, I don't know if you knew this, it's a ploy by Democrats to just get more of the black vote and keep black people in their voter pool and under their thumb. People like to say Democrat plantation, that's a word I've heard thrown around.
They don't think it's because of police brutality?
Well, they look at a couple of the organizers and founders of the movement, and they see that they have, not all of them, obviously, and it's individual, it's kind of a loose organization, but a couple of the figureheads have Marxist leanings, and also they've just noticed a lot of companies and Democratic leaders will jump on the train. I mean, some people do. I mean, some people do just jump on the train of BLM, and it's like, well, why do you care, Wendy's or whatever?
Yeah, they try to make it into almost like a sponsorship, except they're not really helping.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't criticize someone standing up for racial justice, but sometimes it's a little suspect, is what I'm saying. But where was I going with this?
On that point, because you don't know where you're going, I like to say that it's the same with pride parades, where it's suddenly Bank of America is celebrating pride, but it's if you show that you're gay there, then they'll tell you tone it down.
Yeah.
So it's corporations are giving mixed signals because they're considered people. And I think it's a bigger problem because corporations are considered people, so now they're able to express opinions, and the people that own the corporations don't have to be held accountable for any mistakes that they make. And I'm just this is all a mess. But back to your original point, I've been telling Black people, white people that are conservative, don't think they're racist.
Oh, no.
No. No one thinks they're racist.
Except for, well, no.
No one thinks they're racist.
I guess if you're super, super racist, then you don't consider whatever race you dislike as you consider them subhuman, generally.
No, so that's another thing. It's if you think back to when Trump was talking about how Mexicans were criminals and stuff like that. It's if you turn an entire community into something that could harm you, then you can think that yourself is just defending your way of life instead of targeting people.
Yeah.
So it's racism is not. That's one thing that I don't like about social justice, is that they want to go to the people doing things wrong and be you are racist, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's the person on the receiving end is first of all, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
And then they stay there.
Yeah. It's intractable. You can't. People in debates, they don't, and I'm guilty of this as well. You don't find a basis on which you agree. You build a foundation on the things you disagree, and then you just keep saying things at them, and they're going to be well, I'm not racist, so this means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I argue with my dad about, I don't know, his main beef with Democrats is abortion. It's well, if we can't get past that, if you consider it murder, then and I can't convince you otherwise, then you're never going to see my point of view.
He's Catholic.
Well, I was raised Catholic. My dad's super Catholic.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Your dad's Catholic.
Yeah.
So, but it's also weird because I'm why do your religious beliefs have to do with my body? And then I'm who's supporting the what is it?
I'd say it's not your body. It's a soul inside your body.
No. I mean, who's the orphanage? What are orphans sent to?
An orphanage. Foster home?
Yeah. And then it's like the same people who are pro-life aren't really supporting orphanages or like adopting children. So I'm just like, where do you want to do with this life?
Yeah.
Where do you want them to go? Because you're not protecting lives that are here with our army and with our political system, but you want to protect them until they're born?
Let's move on.
All right. So Kempson pointed out that you guys can't see the ball, so I'm going to show you the ball. Woo, 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 woo. Here's the second topic.
Oh, you choose it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's not this one, because you're not black.
Wait. I gotta know what it was.
Oh, it's
Oh. Yeah, no, I have tons of thoughts on that.
aliens. Do you want to talk about aliens?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
It's my favorite. It's one of the best sequels out there, right next to A Few Dollars More. Honestly, Matrix 2 Reloaded, kind of a fan. Aliens.
So of course I believe aliens are real, okay?
Yeah, it was released in 1984.
I don't watch movies. So after my college geography class, once we realized that germs turn into bugs, that turn into bigger organisms, and that's how civilization was created and whatever, I totally believe that they're aliens.
It's probably aliens.
Yeah.
No, I have no reason to believe there's not. One of the other arguments I got in with my father was about the origin of life and evolution.
Oh.
Which neither of us are qualified to talk about, but we'll argue about it anyway. But I did some research after the argument, and as you may know, protein chains are like the basis of DNA.
Yeah.
So, and protein chains are made out of amino acids.
Uh-huh.
And we have seen comets, I don't want to say recently, but semi-recently, and meteorites that had amino acids on them. So the building blocks for life are out there. We know that. And it also lends credence to the theory that maybe life on Earth started not from a primordial soup and time, but from, it fell to Earth from elsewhere.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a popular thought too.
Yeah.
So yeah, aliens are probably real. I'm kind of scared. I don't want them to, because here's the thing. I had a phase where I was really interested in this sort of thing, and I would read about like people's predictions of the Drake equation and yada yada, and people would say like, no, I think we're gonna make contact within the next 30 years. I'm like, how do you know that? Yeah, we got a couple more probes out there, but it's a big space.
Yeah.
I'm very educated on this, as you can tell.
I mean, okay, so one part of me is like, maybe there were aliens and they already died and they're going through their like second Big Bang. But the other part of me is like, what if the aliens are already here and they just went into the ocean? Because a lot of those ocean creatures are weird as fuck, you know?
Yeah, this is the Godzilla theory.
Yeah, so it's like...
even though I know in the movies he's from Earth.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
I can't imagine a being weirder than the ones we already have on Earth. And so I'm like, what if aliens are like invisible or like...
You're wearing an alien?
I am.
Is that why the forethought? Is this rigged? Okay, I'm gonna go on.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, I believe that aliens exist. Do I believe that I will personally ever make contact with an alien? Not that I'm aware of.
Well, of course you're not aware of it.
No, like I feel like if I ever saw an alien, I would just be like, oh, I wonder what animal that is.
Oh. That's a weird thought.
Yeah. Like what if they look like dragon fruit with legs?
Then I guess that's true. If I saw a weird ass animal walking through the woods, I wouldn't call NASA.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, well, but how would it get here?
Now is the challenge that you've all been waiting for. Me and Kempson are going to do push-ups. Whoever does the most amount of push-ups wins. And yeah.
What do I win?
None.
Are you gonna do push-ups? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I tricked him into thinking I could do a push-up. Now, Kempson, could you pick our last topic, please?
All right, if it's about being black, I'm shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Is it ever too late to apologize?
As the great Justin Timberlake said.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a pop song in this.
Mm-hmm.
You misspelled apologize. Calling you out.
They don't know that.
Well, they do now.
I'm gonna know. This is my show. My damn channel.
I'm gonna start my own conspiracy and be like, Cheyenne lied about how she spelled apologize.
That would get me more views.
Is it too late to apologize? Is it ever too late to apologize?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're dead.
Oh, okay. That's a hot take. I guess I wrote this down. I wrote this down because I was having conflict with my parents. And I was like, if my dad were to apologize to me, would I accept it?
Can I ask what he would apologize for?
For being a shitty father.
In general?
Yeah.
I mean,
and I was like, yeah, probably.
It depends on the person. Depends on how forgiving they are. Like if you've cut someone's feet off and then you cut one of their hands off and then you give them a terminal disease and then you sleep with their wife and then you come back and you're like, hey, is it too late to apologize? They're like, I'm dying.
Could you give a realistic example of when it would be too late?
This happened to me last week. He said no and then he passed away. I don't know if you torture victims, people that are chained up in a basement for like 5 years.
Okay, so my personal example would be like, if my second boyfriend, whom cheated on me, decided 4 years later to apologize for it, then I'd kind of be like, bro, get out, you know? Like at that point, I think it's too late to apologize. Especially if he's trying to get back together.
There's such a thing as too soon to apologize too. Like if I think there is, because it's like in the heat of the moment, if you catch someone doing something bad and they're like, I'm sorry, you're like, your dick's still in her. I'm too emotional for this right now. I'm going home. I mean, you gotta wait at least a day. Give them their space.
The question is it too late to apologize? Not when's the perfect time to apologize.
Like by too late, you mean at that point the person who committed the peccadillo should just like...
Yeah.
They should just leave. They should just like, well, you know what? I shouldn't even try to apologize now.
Yeah, like we've had this situation where like I wanted to talk to a mutual friend that I had an argument with, and I was like, hey, do you think it's too late for me to apologize to her? And you're like, yeah! So, I mean, a year after an argument with your best friend could be a little too long, but then I did it anyway. So everything worked out.
It's up to the person, but I think in general, like, if you feel it and there's no, I mean, go for it. Like, if it makes you feel better to apologize.
Yeah.
And if it's sincere, then yeah.
Say your little sister ruined your birthday cake when you were 16.
This sounds personal.
Could she apologize now? Well, no, you love your little sister. That's a bad example. And you don't, I mean, we do like sweets. Is there a circumstance in which you would never forgive someone?
Well, that's not the question. The question is about apologizing, not accepting apologies. But is there something that I could never forgive? Yeah, probably.
Same.
Someone killed my mom.
Why are you so extreme?
Well, when you talk about these rhetorical questions, you gotta go extreme, man.
Just think of regular old people who do you wrong.
Well, someone used my nutmeg when I didn't want them to. Are you
talking about me?
No.
You want to fight me?
Do I even have nutmeg?
I do, if you need any.
I don't even know what nutmeg tastes like, but I know there's a TikTok challenge going on for trying to get high. That's neither here nor there.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in for this variety half hour. Once again, this is Kempson. His information is down below.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. I feel like I talked too much. I'm doing it right now.
All right, now let's smile together at the camera.